Alright, the stream should be starting up and running. This is, oh god, we didn't change it. Son of a... hold on. Hold the phone. I gotta change the title of today's stream. Today's day 5, but it's still at day 4. No. Hold on. Heal. Select. Copy. And the... yeah, that's full. Okay. Day 5. Update, updated. Okay, Twitch, let me check. Guys, do you think it's gonna change? I don't think it's gonna change. I don't see the title changing. I don't know if that's a big deal now. Or if it'll... oh, there we go, day 5. Cool, okay, we're good. Crisis averted, don't mind me. Day 5. Nice. Nice. Okay, hey, and it... oh, well, that makes sense, because it's the 5th, and I started on the 1st of the new year. I was like, what do you know? Today's the 5th day, and it's January 5th. I was like, what are the odds of that? That's not impressive at all, actually. Considering it's the 5th day of coding when I started on the 1st of the year. So, not impressive. Hey, little kitty. We got a visitor. Nice. Where did we leave off? CSS, part 1. Resume. Still not working. Very nice. And into the giant syllabus. Fundamentals. Or colors. Must complete HTML content before you can take this lesson. Assuming they're talking about this first one. Let's do colors. You excited for colors, little kitty? Yeah, you're excited for colors. You like colors. Okay. There's 9 for this. Alright. Oh. Hey. Oh, yeah. You like the sweatshirt? What do you got? You got plastic? Don't eat the plastic. You're gonna eat the plastic. Oh, God. Hold on. Alright, we're back. We're back. You ate that whole plastic thing, didn't you? Okay. Anyways. Here we go. In the last unit, you learned about the basics of CSS, including how to link HTML and CSS files together, how CSS syntax works. Along the way, we styled a different point. No. Along the way, we styled. No? Why does that seem weird? Along the way, we styled a different properties of HTML elements. Styled different, that A needs to be gone. I should have been keeping tally of all these issues. It's okay, we'll start from the back. After we get like a week done, we only got 2 more days, then we'll start firing out all these bugs. Typos, not bugs. Anywho, along the way we styled different properties of HTML elements, but the details of each property weren't explained. For example, we changed the colors of our headings and paragraphs, but we didn't explore the full power and versatility of color. Professional websites often use various aspects of color in order to create a visually appealing user experience, UX. In this lesson, you'll learn how to use CSS to style web pages with color. Let's begin. Instructions. Take a look at the web page in the browser to the right. It does a good job of showcasing the captivating power of color. In the next few exercises, we'll learn how to manipulate color to create visually engaging web pages. Little cat, will you please stop sucking and or licking your toes? Dear God. That's all I hear from her right now. Seriously. Oh my God. Anyways, toe sucking. That's her favorite pastime. Instructions. I had totally blanked because of her damn foot cleanse. Take a look at the web page in the browser to the right. Okay. Nice. The best coffee regions. Good, good, good. We've got our HTML. It does a good job of showcasing the captivating power of color. Yes, the subtle shades of coffee. Love it. In the next few exercises, we'll learn how to manipulate color to create visually engaging web pages. Awesome. Way cool. Great. Look at all that. Looking at all this. Theirs is way more in-depth than the basic stuff we were doing in the last lesson, but that's okay. This is what we want. This is what we want. Before discussing the specifics of color, it's important to make 2 distinctions about color. Color can affect the following design aspects: the foreground color and the background color. Foreground color is the color that an element appears in. For example, when a heading is styled to appear green, the foreground color of the heading has been styled. Conversely, when the heading is styled so that its background color appears yellow, the background color of the heading has been styled. In CSS, these 2 design aspects can be styled with the following 2 properties. 1. Color. This property styles an element's foreground color. And 2. Background color. This property styles an element's background color. Fair enough. We've got red, we've got blue. Nice. In the example above, the text in the heading will appear red and the background of the heading will appear blue. Ta-da! Frickin' miracle. Okay, instructions. 1. Style.css. Set the foreground color of the main heading to midnight blue. Okay. There we go. CSS. Set the foreground color of the main heading. So heading 1 to midnight blue. I'm assuming this empty space. 2. Next, set the background color the heading to aqua. Notice background color and blah, blah, blah. That's why there's 2 lines here. So color first. Midnight. Blah. Cool. Schmacklin. Run that. Kabam! Best coffee regions. Love it. 2. Next, set the background color of the heading to aqua. Nice. Notice that the background color property did not change the background color of the entire page. Instead, only the background area behind the heading changed. Learn why this occurs in more detail later in the course. Note, the background color of the heading is blocking the image of the coffee. So let's remove it. Remove the background color of the main heading. What? Yeah, we're just gonna drop in the color and see what happens. Background color. Aqua. Run. Ew, yeah, okay, the background color is blocking the image of the coffee, so let's remove it. No. Do they want me to remove it now? Maybe they're gonna remove it in the next one. I don't know. Either way. Okay, over the past few exercises, you've seen CSS examples that use colors like red, blue, or cayenne. In CSS, these colors are technically known as named colors. There are a total of 147 named colors. Gotta catch them all. At this point, you might be wondering if you are expected to memorize the list of 147 named colors that CSS offers. I don't see why not. I mean, I can name a couple hundred Pokemon. I'm sure I can add 147 colors to my list of things to keep track of. Not that I really want to. Anyways, fortunately, you don't have to. There are plenty of available resources on the internets, on the onlines, that list all the name colors in CSS, like the one we linked you to above. Nice. If you're ever in need of a named color, a quick Google search will yield the results you are looking for. Let's try out some new colors. Set the color of the main heading to crimson. Set the background color to dark magenta. Wow, fun. That's nice. That's not seizure-inducing at all. Hopefully no one's susceptible to bright light and shiny colors, so you've been warned. Crimson. All about that crimson life. I don't think it needs to be capital, but it makes me feel better because it's capital in their example, right? Maybe that's just a crazy person issue. Highly possible. Dark magenta. No spaces. Stop smiling. Run. Oh, subheadings. They said to get rid of it. Ooh, wait, hold on. No. I want to try this. Oh, death. What was it? It was to comment out? Yeah. Aha! How you like that? Boom! Look at that. And then for the subheadings, I can change it. I don't know if they want me... Does H2 count as the subheading? I think it does. Yeah, that's definitely the subheading. So, dark magenta. Dark magenta. Nice. Run. Cool, cool. Again, the webcam and my mic are perfectly blocking the screen, the coffee section of my screen, but that's okay. Oh, I can always scroll it so it's higher, but eh. Anywho, why is that so angry? I mean, cannot read property. One of them all. Guys, am I a failure? That's okay. Failing's not the issue. It's continuing on. That's the problem. So continuing on we shall. So, with that said, set the background, because there is no background color. Gotcha, gotcha. We need to add it. So, Z, we want hashtag EB something or other. Slash attack. Okay, and now background color. Dark magenta. We're gonna get a hold of that spacing eventually. That space between dark and magenta keep cropping up. Run. Success. Great success. Nice, nice. Look at that. Beautiful. Tons of fun. Next. 4-9. Although named colors provide 147 different options, this is a small amount when you consider the flexibility of CSS. To take advantage of the full spectrum of colors that CSS supports, you have the option of using RGB colors. Red, green, blue colors offer the option of 16,777,216 possible colors. How is that possible? RGB colors work by mixing together different amounts of red, green, and blue. Each color, RGB, can take on one of a possible 256 values between 0 and 255. This results in 16 million blah possible colors. To use RGB colors, you can use the RGB value when styling a color. Aha, very clever. RGB 123 22 33 background blah 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 comma blah blah comma blah. Nice. In the above example, the value of color is set to RGB. 3 numbers in the parentheses represent the value for RGB in that order. Note, you can use RGB for background colors as well. How can you tell what color the RGB value? How can you tell what colors the RGB values in the example above will result in? Are you expected to memorize 16 million possibilities? Thankfully, no. There are many resources on the internet known as color pickers that allow you to view the result of different RGB values before you decide to use a certain color. If you're ever in need of a color picker resource, a quick Google search will yield the results you're looking for. We'll check out this, color pickers. Adobe Color CC. Wow, fun. 5 colors. Nice. Alright. Well, that's rather handy. Good pro tip. Color pickers, Adobe. In Style CSS, remove the name color for the main heading and set it to RGB with the following values. After making the initial we'll call it reading mistakes, I'm going to adopt the carpenter's rule of measure twice, cut once. We're going to do read the instructions twice and execute once to cut down. That way we don't run into the subheadings background issue like we did in section 3 in previous sections. So here again for the second time, in style CSS, remove the named color for the main heading and set it to an RGB color with the following values. Blah, 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 blah. Copy. Main heading. Crimson. Which will now be RGB. Parenthesis. Oh, did they do the double? No, they don't. They do the single, unless I just messed it up and it's weird, but it seems like you have to do each parentheses your own. Parenthesi? Parenth? I don't know what the individual is. I think it's just parentheses. Drop it and fire away. Nice. The best coffee regions. Next, remove the name color for the subheadings background and set it to the RGB color with the following values. Next, remove the name color for the subheadings background, set it to RGB. So same song and dance, but down here. RGB. Paste. Run. Green check marks for everybody. You get a green check mark. You get a green check mark. Nice. Technically, I realize the boxes are green and it's a white check mark, but whatever. Okay, hold on. Alright, scoot. Crises averted yet again. Where are we? 5 of 9. Right? Oh, look at you. You're so sleepy. Can we see her? Can we see Sleepy Kitty? Right? Right. Oh, you can. He's in a little circle. Kind of like the feline equivalent of a cinnamon roll. Okay. What is happening? Oh, that is a group text. Good. Fun. Nothing important. I guess I don't think it's anything important. There's an additional way to specify colors in CSS. Hexadecimal color codes, often referred to as hex color codes for short. Hex color codes offer, 16,777,216 color options, but they follow a different syntax. When specifying an RGB color mixture, the values are in base 10. Hex color codes, however, use base 16 or hexadecimal base, hence the name, to specify color mixtures. H1 color, hashtag or pound, depending what era you're born in, 09AA34. When read left to right, each group of 2 characters responds to a value for red, green, and blue respectively. In the above example, 9 refers to the value for red, AA refers to the value for blue, and 34 refers to the value for green. All hex color codes begin with a hashtag character. Is there a difference between RGB values and hex color codes? Not really. RGB values and hex color codes are different ways to represent the same thing, color. It is possible to convert back and forth between RGB values and hex color codes. Color pickers often help with this conversion. Note, when a hex color code is composed entirely of the same characters, the hex color can be abbreviated like so. FFFFFFFFFFFF is FFF. This is the same color as above. Cool. AA33BB. Oh, A3B. That's really interesting. That's actually super awesome. That's very interesting. Kinda strange. Okay. In Style CSS, change the color of the main heading to blah. In style.css, change the color of the main heading to blank. Oh god. We're on a rampage. Nobody's safe. There we go. Run. Next, change the background color of the subheadings to blah. Copy. Subheadings. Yeah, run. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Purple and coffee-like. Love it. Love it. Okay. 6 of 9. The current revision of CSS, CSS 3 at the time of this writing, introduces a new way to specify colors using HSL colors. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. Specifically, this is what each means. Hue is the technical term that describes what we understand as color. In HSL, hue is represented on a color wheel and can take on values between 0 and 360. In 2, saturation, the amount of gray in a given color in HSL saturation is specified using a percentage between 0 and 100%. The percentage 0 represents a shade of gray, whereas 100% represents full saturation. Lightness, the amount of white in a given color. Similar to saturation, lightness is specified using a percentage between 0 and 100%. The 0% or the percentage 0 represents black, whereas 100% represents white. 50% is normal. Dum dum dum. Cool. You can use HSL colors in your CSS like this. Color, HSL, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, percentage. So 182, 20%, 50%. Notice that using HLS is very similar to RGB. Note, because HSL is part of CSS 3, older browsers may not support it. In a later exercise, you'll learn how to work around support issues for colors. Instructions. Style. Change the color of the main heading and set it to an HSL color with values 350, 58.8%. Ooh, I like the point percentage. That's cool. 0.8. Copy. And 42%. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. Although that's just 42, but percent is close enough. H1 main heading. HSL. Hashtag shift life for parentheses, pasties. Running. Nice. Green check marks. Coming in hot. 7 of 9. Okay. Nice. Fun. Okay, yeah, nothing going on there. Where did we leave off? Okay. You learn that RGB and Hex Color Codes are two different methods of representing the same thing, color. However, there's one feature that RGB colors support that Hex colors do not. Opacity, or opacity, depends on how you like it. Tomato, tomato. Opacity is a measure of how transparent a color is. To modify opacity or opacity, we'll stick with opacity. In RGB colors, CSS offers the RGBA value. Note the slight difference between RGB and RGBA. Yes, well noted. The extra A character in RGBA value is known as the alpha value. It represents the opacity. Opacity? Son of a bitch, that's going to drive me crazy. Of a color. The alpha value can be between 0 or 1? Oh, point nothings. Gotcha. Inclusive. It's just a percentage, right? I wonder how many values it can go. Anywho, in the example above, the alpha value has been set to 0.5. This indicates that the color of the heading will be set to 50% of its normal opacity. It doesn't sound right. Opacity? Note the alpha value can also be used for HSL color using HSLA. Cool. HSLA, blah, 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 .04. Change the color of the main heading to an RGBA color, to 9 blah, and to 0.6. Cool. Main heading. Main heading right here. RGBA. .6. Run. Success. Notice how the main heading is now transparent. Noticing. Very true. Notice how the main heading is now transparent. Let's make it more opaque. So if it's opaque, which is a normal word, opacity? I don't even remember what the other one is. I'm sticking with opacity. Okay, so let's make it more opaque to make it easier to read for users. Keep the same color, but change the alpha value to 0.9. Cool. 8. RGB Colors, Hex Color Codes, and HSL Colors offer web developers an extraordinary amount of color customization options. As these priorities become more advanced, however, it is important to keep in mind that not all users browse the internet with the same browser, let alone the same version of a given browser. How does this affect web development? newer revisions of HTML and CSS affect older browsers. Older browsers over time will become dated, possibly obsolete, and not be able to support newer CSS features. For example, many older browsers do not support RGBA, HSL, or HSLA. Because of this, we must include redundant color options in our CSS code that can cater to a wide audience of different browsers. Specifically, we can add multiple CSS color declarations just in case a user's browser can't support a certain declaration. H1 color RGB blah 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 RGBA 0.4. In CSS, the latter of the multiple declarations takes priority. In the example above, if the user's browser supports RGBA, then that will be applied to the heading. If it does not, then CSS will use the first RGB blah color declaration as a backup. Using redundant declarations allows you to support as many users as possible across multiple versions of different internet browsers. All makes sense. Sounds fair to me. Right, little kitty? Oh, you're kind of asleep. You're peeking. Okay. You excited? We're on to instruction 1 of section 8. Okay. Good. In style.css, set the color of the main heading to an RGB color with the values 3, 150, and 100. Okay. Main heading, RGB, for the win. RGB. Good. Run. 2, on the next line, set the main heading's color to RGBA with the values 3 blah blah blah. Which color was applied to the heading? Trick question. Not quite. On the next line, set the main heading's color with the value of blah. Okay. So that's here. Getting rid of that. RGBA. There's this. Oh, drugs. Color. Da 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 da. Copy. Paste. Good. Run. Nice to pretend. Okay, so which one took effect? RGBA took effect. We'll try clearing that. Oh god. Dum dum dum. Dee 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 dee. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Dun dun dun. There's that. Full color. In your face. 75% opaque. Run it. Ta-da! Look at that. Beautiful. Love it. 9 of 9. Okay. Great job. You've learned how to style an important aspect of the user experience, color. Let's review what you've learned so far. 1. Foreground colors refer to the actual color of an element, styled with the color property. 2. Background colors refer to the color behind an element, styled with the background color property. 3. There are 147 named colors available. 4. RGB and hexadecimal colors offer over 16 million color possibilities. 5. HSL is a new way of defining colors in CSS3. 6. You can modify the opacity of a color with RGBA or HSLA colors. 7. Not all browsers support newer CSS features like opacity or HSL, so additional declarations should be made to support a wide audience of users. 8. There are many color picker resources available on the internet to help you select specific colors, as well as provide colors in different formats. Instructions. Take some time to experiment with your knowledge of colors in style.css when you're done. You can proceed, when you're done, you can proceed to the next unit. Fair enough. Okay. Let's do 50. Hmm. 200? 200. Because of this. 50. 50. 200.8. Aha. 0.5. Super faded. Nice. Nice. Okay. I don't think we really need to do a lot. Let's do aqua and background color. Okay. Which uses percentages. Let's do 25, 40%, 70%, 0.6. Let's just change these. Let's do one of the 3 sets. So we'll do 4 GG. We can just do 4G8. Why? Oh, right. Just kidding. That was a lie. That was a lie. Wait, no, it wasn't. Why wasn't it a lie? Four GG8. 4. Oh, it doesn't go to G. That's why. You're an idiot. Haha, that was me. That was me. I'm a liar. Then let's do D. D. It's the weird green. That's what that is. 4D8 is 44DD88 is Kermit the Frog, nuclear Kermit the Frog green. That's what that is. Cool. Up next, fonts. Learn how text can be modified using typefaces, sizes, and more. Classes, IDs, and divs. Learn about some of the most important techniques used to organize HTML code. Wait, are these different classes or the same one? I'm just gonna do this. Fonts. Good. Yes, why fonts matter. How the rise of soccer in the US is changing the face of youth sports. Good. And we're done here. So Codecademy. That's a 5%. Nice. HTML tables, images, positioning, fundamentals, fonts, which we just clicked into and we'll finish later. 49 points in the club. All right. 10 badges, 5-day streak. Hashtag badge life. I'm gonna get badgy. Ten exercises. Max streak count of 1. Cool. Alright, I think that's it for today's stream. At least for coding. I might game later. I might do Skyrim. Oh god, Skyrim, or if I have time, possibly a product review. Been dying to do a review of my speakers, the Klipsch, what is it? R28F towers. So that's what's in the background. But for today's coding, I think that is it. 5 days down, only 360 more days to go. Good times. Killing the stream till tomorrow.